All praises to the Most High, He said. All praises to the Holy Spirit, Kai. All praises to the Messiah, Most of the Lamb. The Water Abba for choosing to wake us up today, giving us breath in our body. Motsa, please be our strength today. Messiah, please be our strength today. Brothers and sisters, I don't care what you call them. I don't care if you call him Yeshaya, Yahuwah, or Yahusha, if I'm talking about the Messiah, Yeshua, Yahweh, Jesus, Christ, Lord. I don't care, because I know it's the character that you talking about. I ain't feeling the best today, if I confess. I'm feeling mentally drained again. I'm feeling spiritually beaten. I feel like my words are starting to kind of slur together. I don't know what that could be. I'm feeling pain in my body, and I'm just praying that the Messiah would be a healer, not just for me, but anybody else who's going through some type of pain, spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally. I pray that he comes and redeems us from these pains. I pray that he comes in and wipes the tears away. And I don't just mean the tears that you see. I mean them tears that you gotta cry eternally. I pray that he wipes those away too. You know those tears you gotta fight back when you gotta clench your jaw just so they won't fall. Yeah, I pray that he comes and wipes those tears away as well. I pray that he comes and takes all pain away, all worry, all stress. I pray that he comes as a relief to really give rest and rescue his people. I pray that he changes hearts so that we can make that possible, so that we can make that a reality. Sometimes I find myself thinking of others in a way that's not most righteous. Sometimes I find myself condemning others within myself as if I'm perfect, as if I got it all together, as if I'm not currently in a situation of making mistakes or in transgression or in sin, or however it's viewed. Sorry to dump this all on y'all, but that just was on my spirit this morning. But we are back in the book of remembrance of our ancient grandmothers, and I'm reading from the Zedekiah edition. The book of remembrance is a collection of books, or some say a volume of books. It's mentioned in the Bible in Malachi chapter 3 verse 16. It says, "Then they that revered and loved the Lord spake often one to another. And the Lord hearkened and heard it, and in his presence a book of remembrance was written for them that revered the Lord and that thought upon his name." I know and I understand that when it says name, it means his character. Something that I kind of just thought about when I mentioned the Messiah and how he was named according to his characteristics. One thing on this walk that I decided long ago I would not hinder me from showing love to my brothers is a difference in names that we call. I think one main reason for that, for me, is because if you think of the different names and titles the Messiah has just in the Bible, before we knew we were Hebrew, right? We knew him as Jesus. We knew him as Emmanuel. We knew him as the Lamb with no blemish. We knew him as our Lord, our Savior, our Redeemer. We know that in Malachi it says he shall be called Ishi, no more Baali. He's been called other titles and names, but what doesn't change is his character. That is why I say what I say. It doesn't bother me what name you call on. If I see you operating in his righteousness and his characteristics, that's the name I see. I don't focus on the name I hear. I look for the name I see, because that is how we are supposed to judge a tree, by the fruits that we see, not by the fruits that we hear. I don't think I've ever heard a fruit grow. I don't know what that sound is like, but I know in my little home garden, when I have my strawberry plant, I can see the fruits, and I can see ones that are bad, and I can see ones that are good, and I see ones that are not ready. So, just want to say that one time again. But anyway, let's just jump right into the reading. We are in chapter 6, and we are picking up verse 61, and we'll be stopping at verse 80. All praises to the Most High. Verse 61. And after these things, Iona pondered in her heart all the Lord had said to her, and she was desirous to do all that the Lord had asked of her. And she went humbly before the Lord alone and said, O Lord, how can I, a humble woman, who has been separated from my mother these long years, and one who has a wayward husband, bless you to give you rest, seeing you are so holy? And the Lord appeared standing before her, and he reached his hand toward her and said, You have blessed me, and will bless me. And she said, How so, Lord? And the Lord said, You have followed the example of your mother, and you have raised up your children in holiness of heart, in the midst of hard trials. And in this way have I been comforted in my desires for your son. And now I have led you to find my beloved one, Bolton. It will come to pass that the children that will be born of these two must be diligently guarded and cared for and protected and raised up before me. And I have prepared all things before you. So go in peace, and you will find comfort in a new daughter. And it came to pass that Bolton came to visit with Iona for a time, and Bolton and Lamech became fast friends, and they found their hearts to be one in all they desired for the Lord. And she was tall, and had very thick and beautiful hair, like her father Amazia. And Lamech was the most like his mother, and he was small and very gentle and of a mild nature. And his strong love for Anokised was known to all his kindred, and in the springtime they had their wedding, and it took place on a high bluff near the pool of heaven. And as I looked with Urim, I saw that at this time the wicked began to encroach into the regions of Qatar, and the righteous there had to depart into the high places, so as not to encounter them. And I saw that many of the old masters of Seku had passed away, or were hunted and became vagabonds in the earth. And a new generation of masters of this secret society arose, and they were very different than those who had preceded them. The old masters were simple and just wanted dominance over their fellows, and all their wickedness was pointed toward that end. And they were vile in their lying and stealing and murders and much fornication. But these new masters were such that they lusted after the shedding of blood, and they had no consciences, and they held that the shedding of blood was the center of their religion, and that all the benefits of mystical power came by blood. And these new masters were instructed by Motsur himself in the secrets of darkness, and they were cruel and sinister in all their ways. And I see that the Lord has set his hand to protect his lovely ones from this new and deepening threat. And I have seen that the people of Ma'in are not subjected to these terrible Nephilim, but the people of Qatar are facing this new depth of darkness. So the Lord set his hand to see to it by the covenant of Gabriel that all the righteous would someday return to Eden, And this could be expanded to apply also to the righteous in Qatar, and perhaps even to all the righteous throughout the long duration of the earth. And the Spirit said, "There is a gracious woman who has accomplished this for me, and you will see that all of the righteous people of the earth will be greatly blessed because of her joinings." And as I looked to see the women who had done this, I began to see a woman of profound charity. And the Lord said, "Let me show you this daughter of mine. Her name is Tavah, for it was prophesied at her birth that she could join all the desires of Anokised to the desires of the righteous. And it was not known in her day, but the effect of her joining carried on for a multitude of generations. And she was espoused to a young man named Nahal, the great-grandson of Iona. And he is a descendant of Azan and Amori. And when he was a lad, it was told his mother that he would be one who would lead the people gently on in their way to Eden and Anokised. And as I beheld this wonderful maiden, I saw that she was espoused and lived yet with her mother. And she placed a gourd around her shoulders that was carried by a cord, and she is going to get water. And as she approached a rise, and as she approached a rise and can look down to where the water is found, she saw a stranger sitting there on a large rock, and she can tell by his garment that he is a stranger. And because of the dangers faced from the wicked, when they sally forth into their land, she stepped aside out of view to be discreet, and she could see another person coming to get water. And Tavah saw that they greeted each other in kindness, so she set out to go to the place of water without fear. And as she approached, the stranger smiled at her, and he held out a wooden cup for a drink. And Tavah took his cup and filled it with water and put it into his hand. And after he drank, he knelt down and filled the cup again and arose and gave it to her to drink. And they looked upon one another. And Tavah was filled with the Spirit, and she knelt down before him, and he said, "Dear maiden, my father Anokised desires that all of his children be able to return to Eden during the course of the earth, and that the covenant of Gabriel may in this way be expanded. You are the fillings made flesh of one who can lead the righteous there. Will you perform a task for me?" And Tavah said, "Oh, I want to. What is it you desire of me?" And he said, "Before the sun rises on the morrow, your husband shall be guided to understand the task I have for him, and your task will thus open up before you." And he placed his hand on her head, and she arose and went home straightway. And on the way she thought upon his words when he said, "My father Anokised." And his words about the desires of Anokised burned into her soul. And when she returned home, she had no water, because she had left her gourd behind at the place of water. And she was overcome with emotion and could not speak. And her mother sent for Nahal, her espoused husband, to see if he could understand what had transpired. And Tavah said to Nahal, "He asked me to perform a task for him, and he said that Anokised was his father. And when he gave me a drink, my soul was filled to overflowing." And Nahal said, "What is the task he asked of you?" And she rehearsed his words when he said, "My father Anokised desires that all his children be able to return to Eden during the course of the earth, and that the covenant of Gabriel may in this way be expanded." And she told Nahal that he had said further that she was the fillings made flesh of one who can lead the righteous back to Eden. And upon hearing this, Nahal was astonished, and he said, "It is my vision to lead people gently on toward Anokised. Who was the stranger? How can he know of such things?" And Nahal went with haste to the place of water. And when he arrived, no one was there, but he found the little wooden cup sitting on the rock. And he called out, "O man of Anokised, where are you? I want to speak with you." And as he looked about, he spied a man walking who wore the garment of a stranger. And he stopped walking and turned to look toward Nahal, and he sat upon the ground. And Nahal approached him gently, and he was afraid to ask the man who he was. But as he drew closer, he knew it was Motza the lamb. And Nahal knelt before the Lord. And the Lord put his hand upon his shoulder, and he said, "My son, I have prepared for you this day and I have called you to be a gentle guide. Now, I have come to call upon your rib to perform a task for me, and she is filled with the desires of those in heaven, and her soul is filled with longings that Enoki said have happiness in his world, and that he should not have the burden of grief because of the acts of the wicked. And I have promised those who have gone before her that whatsoever thing she should ask for in righteousness will be done. Now go, and I will give you to know how to prepare the way for her, so she can fulfill her task. And Nahal bowed his head in worship, and when he opened his eyes, the Lord was gone. And Nahal returned home to the mother of Tavah, because he too was overcome and could not speak. And word was spread in the camp that something had happened to them, and the people gathered to hear the news. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High, man. That is beautiful. So let me see who this was. This is Nahal and Tavah, I believe this was. Yeah, this was Nahal and Tavah. And they done went to this place of water and ran into Moses of the Lamb, the Messiah. They done ran into him. And he done blessed them and gave them both a task. That was awesome. And I want to mention something in here that I read when it was saying that Tavah went to the place of water and she had a gourd with a rope tied around it so she could carry it. This is for anyone who doesn't know, because there may be some people who do know, that may be gardeners or, have planted vegetations before. I've never planted one of these. I've definitely seen them. I feel like most of us have seen them, especially around this time of the year in November. But a gourd is like a vegetable. I think like melons are considered gourds. If you look it up, you'll see that gourds are usually like decorative melons. So when you go into these stores and different places and you see like these pumpkin types vegetables and fruits or what they may be, and like the squash looking ones, you may see some that's like green and white kind of spotted, or you'll see like the brown ones. They're just different kind of like festive looking ones that you'll see around this time of the year. But all of those are gourds, and I don't think all of them are edible. I think most of them, they only grow for decoration. They're just meant to be decorative or something like that. But who knows? They may have some type of properties in them that can help you or benefit your body. Not sure. But anyway, I pray that today is a better day than yesterday. I pray that you guys are able to walk in the fruit of the Spirit, have mercy upon one another, forgive one another. There's my mail. 1 second, guys. Yeah, I pray that you guys can walk in love and peace today. Pray for me, y'all. I need it. I need it bad. Thank y'all for listening. Those of you who listen. I ain't got much to say, man. So y'all have a peaceful day. Shalom. I'm gonna let y'all hear this song by my brothers Yom and Zoog off of Yom's new album, Sorry I'm Late. It's called Workin Mines. All praises to the Most High.
Rocky Whore. Gotta stand to the king. My words. Basement boys.
Man, how I got the nerve to judge what's in your eye when it's still in mine? Yeah, I changed, but I can't never act like I ain't danced with mines. Trying to clean a glass house, but the stains still I see on mines. Truth is, I ain't perfect, I'm still working mines. Salvation, I'm still working mines. Man, I've been wrestling with depression since my younger days. Searching for myself, feeling trapped inside a maze. No blueprint for the journey, just some wrong turns I made. But yeah, I kept a hand on me, shielding every stray. Felt the weight of my choices. Who knows, I probably could've had a son. I was young, but I know deep inside, man, they mama want the one. Dies the future full of pain, but the guilt weigh a ton. I pray for better days, trying to face what I done. I still remember when the teacher said I wouldn't be nothing, but I I rise every morning like the eastern sun. How I'm coming, it's all grace from above. Still got flaws, still learning how to love. Might stumble, but it's mercy, don't quit. Perfect I'm not, but I'm perfectly his. Some of y'all be pointing fingers when your soul's still a mess. I lay it at his feet and let his ruach clean my mess. Man, how I got the nerve to judge what's in your eye when it's still in mine? Yeah, I changed, but I can't never act like I ain't danced with mines. Trying to clean a glass house, but the stains still I see on mines. Truth is, I ain't perfect, I'm still working mines. Salvation, I'm still working mines.
I hit my mirror when I needed help. True. See the king when you check yourself. That's facts. Yeah, we going deep. We dealing facts, so you know it's me. Like be rolling, make a movie, picture poetry, orderly. Let's go. I'm from the place where they serving church and poesy. That's facts. In the fire with the babies where we supposed to be. We down. When they find out who we serve, now they supposed to leave. They chill. I had to focus on myself, so I took a seat. That's it. I found my balance to the palace with the king of all. We rolling. Point the finger at yourself when a man evolves. Okay. Lost momentum in relations, car had really stalled. It's cool. A lot of things I've been about, a mouse to move it all. Yes, Shawty left for comfort in when I helped her win. Getting better with her help, still I'm gaining sense. A soft answer kinda ease, situation tense. Okay. Been working minds diligence.
Man, how I got the nerve to judge what's in your eye when it's still in mine? Yeah, I changed, but I can't never act like I ain't danced with mines. Trying to clean a glass house, but the stains still I see on mines. Truth is, I ain't perfect, I'm still working mines. Salvation, I'm still working. Man, how I got the nerve to judge what's in your eye when it's still in mine? Yeah, I changed, but I can't never act like I ain't danced with mines. Trying to clean a glass house, but the stains still I see on mines. Truth is, I ain't perfect, I'm still working mines. Salvation, I'm still working.